Yo peoples, it's tgtracks, and today we'll be doing something different. We're going to be doing an orchestral drill type beat. So first off, I already got some of my sounds in there, all from the Rise drum kit, and then what we're going to be doing is we'll go to different VSTs and putting it all together, and we'll see the end result. Alright, cool. So now what I've got out is the Labs VST. The VST is free, so yeah, you can actually go ahead and get this VST. But what I'm going to be doing from this VST is going straight to the vocals, and we're going to see what kind of melody we can make with these. What you want to do to make it more orchestral is you want to layer these with different voices, because it's going to be kind of acting as if it was like a real life choir. So what I'm going to be doing is doing some higher notes now. I'm going to do OR just to randomize the volume. Alright, now that we got that, we can actually go into the mixer and we're going to change the way it sounds just to make it more realistic. So this is now how you would mix something like this. Valhalla is actually a very good VST if you want that kind of reverb sound. So I'm going to be going off different reverbs and we'll see what we'll get. So here you can see you got different presets. If you click here, you can see that you got echoes, you got mod, you got reverbs, and you got sound effects. So I'm going to go straight to reverb, start with A small, and then we're going to be scrolling through them to see what kind of reverb sounds best. Alright, cool. So I think we got our reverb now. Now what we're going to be doing is actually building the beat around that. But first, before we do that, we're going to just play around with the different notes just in case that we find a note that sounds better. So this is what I like to do. Just like to play around the notes. That sounds better to me. So from there, that's actually just giving me an idea. I'm actually gonna go and open up Labs again. So I'm gonna just do Alt C to copy and paste this bit here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go into the strings. So with the orchestral drill type beats, you want it to sound like there's just multiple instruments going on, but make sure that they all have their own space, just so it doesn't clash with each other. So I'm gonna click violin and we're gonna go from there. Now that I've got the violin out, I'm gonna be building it from here. So now I'm gonna go with C as the root note and quickly just quantize that, and I'm gonna just make sure that it goes well with the main melody. I thought to pull out the creepy piano VST because I kind of want like a dark orchestral kind of sound. So we're gonna be scrolling through the pianos, see which one sounds best with this one. So just to quickly hear what it would sound like, I'm just gonna copy and paste this onto the creepy piano just so I know what it sounds like, and then we're gonna change it after. I think that is already the one. So now I'm going to be doing some chords. Another thing with this, you want to do some lower notes as well, just to make it have that depth to the piano and make it sound more full. Alright, we've got that now. And now what we're going to do, we're going to highlight this whole thing and we are actually going to strum it. Alright, now that we got the three melodies, we're going to actually put halftime on the third one, which is the piano. And this will make it have that dark sound of effect. Now it sounds a lot darker. for the voices, I just want to EQ the high end just a little bit, just to make sure that you don't hear too much of the high frequencies. Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and finish the drums. So let's make this beat now. Now with the hi-hats, I'm just gonna be doing simple hi-hats, but do a few ghost notes just to add bits that make it sound a bit better. So what we're gonna be doing is going in between the gaps, and we're gonna just lower the volume. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the snares. Another thing too, with orchestral type of beats, you want to make sure that you're EQing it the right way and you're putting reverb on certain instruments, because it kind of gives it that realistic effect. And that's kind of the key to making orchestral drill beats. You want to have the realistic sound to it. Now that we got the kicks, we're gonna go straight to the 808s, and from the 808s we're gonna do this around the kick. Another thing with 808s, to make sure that they're always in tune, do control up just to scale it up by 1 to the next octave, and then it'll be easier to hear what the pitch of your 808 is, and then you just make sure it's the same pitch as your melody. Now I'm gonna add some slides to the 808 as well. Pitch this back down, so I want it to start from a lower note, and this is what it's gonna sound like now. first rule of thumb for me, I just like to copy and paste everything into here and then just do that until I find how long I kind of want to make the beat. So if you just pay attention to the top left corner, you can see the time's going up. So that's around 3 minutes 25. I'm going to leave it at that. One thing I like to do, I like to make my intros kind of quick now, because people's attention spans nowadays are not as good as they used to be. So now what I like to do is just make it short so that you can get right into the beat. Another trick you can do to make really good intros is to cut the kick and then wait for the kick to come in later. It has more of a dramatic sort of effect when it comes back in. Now that we got a hook, we're gonna go right into the verse now. So for the verse, I'm gonna have this as a 16 bar. So that's generally just take out 4 boxes here. I just took out these bits here because this is where I'm gonna have my verse. We're actually going to speed up the beat a bit just to give it a bit more energy. You can hear now that the beat sounds a lot better. Sometimes if your beat doesn't sound right, you might have to slow it down or you might have to speed it up. The tempo does a lot to the beat, so yeah. And then for the verse, I'm going to make a slight change to the piano just to give it a more interesting sound and to make sure everything's always switching up, because you don't want the beat to go still. So yeah, always make sure things are switching up. You see how it sounds a bit more interesting now. So now I'm just gonna copy and paste that over to the other side, and that'll be it for a second verse melody. I thought it'd be interesting to bring back this melody just so it doesn't sound too boring. So yeah, we're gonna have this melody come back in here. So yeah, I've got everything there now. Since I've done the first hook and verse, I just copied it over to the other side. Always make sure that if you're just doing like a kind of a classic sort of structure to a beat, to a drill beat, make sure it ends off with the hook, because the hook is the hook, you know what I'm saying? That's what hooks people in. So another thing you can do is actually make some changes to the 808 in the verse, just to give the verse a bit more variation, that the verse sticks out more. So yeah, for the second bit, this is what it sounds like now. that's the second bit there, and I think that's it for this beat. So what I'm gonna do now is just copy and paste this, or just change the pattern for this bit so it's easy to tell what's the verse, what's the hook. That's tgtracks. If you like this tutorial, subscribe to the channel, and if you want more drum kits, go to my website at tgtracks.com. there you will find exclusive drill drum kits. So yeah, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with more.